Right, so welcome back to the channel. We're playing another game here today at Shire War Games. Ian is going to take the ultimate cheddar cheese Eldar list that I've just used, and he's going to play an even cheesier list. But we shall see what happens. We're just going to use exactly the same table, and we'll take you now through the armies. So there we go. This is today's cheese. I've taken an Imperial Knight household detachment. We have in the middle, I'm going to try and remember the names of the knights. The one in the middle is the Gallant. He has an Icarus auto cannon, and he is going to be the Warlord, so he gains the character special rule, and he also adds +1 to his weapon and ballistic skill. He also has Helm of the Nameless Warrior, which means he has Rampage, so he gets D3 additional attacks. We've got at this side a Crusader with an Infernus cannon thermal cannon. He's also got the Gatling cannon. He has a shoulder-mounted heavy stubber, and he's got the Iron Storm missile launcher on the top. I think it's the Iron Storm. It's a Strength 8 AP3 Heavy 3 one. The one on this side, we have a standard Paladin. That one has a shoulder-mounted melter gun, and obviously the heavy stubber on the battle cannon. He also has the Strength 8 missile launcher. We've got down here a Blood Angel allied detachment. We've got a 5-man tactical squad with a melter gun. The Librarian there, I haven't rolled his powers yet, but he will be rolling from the Blood Angel table. We've got a squad of 3 bikers. The Sergeant doesn't have a power weapon, and the 2 special weapons will be Grav today. And the tactical squad is in a drop pod. Haven't rolled for the Warlord trait on the Knight either, so we'll take you through the Eldar. Right, so the Librarian has the Primaris, which is quickening, and he's also rolled for Unleash Rage. The Imperial Knight Warden Gallant, his Warlord trait is having a Mastercrafted, and I'm going to say Chainsword for that. So we'll go through the Eldar army. Right, so Ian is going to be using the same Eldar force that I've just used. So we've got an Aspect Warhorse, which is 6 Fire Dragons with an Exarch, 5 Dark Reapers with the Exarch and Strength 8 missiles. We've got the Warp Spiders with the Exarch. Squad of 3 Wind Riders, just standard. These 3 are going to be proxied as Sheraton Cannons. These 3 have Sheraton Cannons. And then we've got a Warlock and a Farseer. The Warlock has Conceal, Reveal and Enhanced Drain. The Farseer has Guide, Fortune, Eldritch Storm and Mind War. He has a Spirit Stone of Anathalan, which means Ian's going to be getting the nice big Eldritch Storm on 3 warp charges. We've then got the 3 Vipers, each with dual Sheraton Cannons and Holofields. We've got a Wraith Knight with dual Sheraton Cannon and the Sword and Shield. And then we've got a Hemlock Wraith Fighter as standard. So we'll now go for deployment. Right, so welcome back after deployment. I won the roll off and I like to deploy first, but I do think this is possibly a little bit cheesy, so I've said Ian can have first turn. We've got the Paladin here at this side, again it's covering the ruins. We've got the Gallant, I think, with the bikers hiding under there, and we've got the Crusader at this side. Ian's counter deployment, he's got the 6 bikers there, 3 squads of 3 with Sheraton Cannons. He's got the Dark Reapers in the ruin, same place as I put them. Wraith Knight, slap bang centre with the Spiders and the Dragons here, and the other squad of bikers and the Vipers at this side. We're going to play Cleanse and Control, which is just draw 3 cards each turn and discard up to 1. So we'll come back after Eldar, turn 1. Right, so Ian has drew Secure Objective 6, Combined Strike and Kane's Wrath. He's moved the Farseer and the Warlock, as well as the 6 Sheraton Cannon Bikers this way. The Reapers have stayed where they are. Wraith Knight is pulled into the centre. Spiders and dragons are holding back. He lost a biker here, unfortunately, dangerous terrain, and they did pass the morale check, and the Vipers have moved 12 inches forward. So that's it for the movement. We'll now move on to the psychic phase. Right, so psychic phase, the Dark Reapers now have guide on them, and Ian elected to cast Eldritch Storm, and he did get it off, but unfortunately the scatter was way over here. I think it scattered about 10 inches. So that's it for the psychic phase. Let's move on to shooting. Right, so Ian's turbo boosted both of the bike squads here, and the Farseer and the Warlock pulled sideways there. Dark Reapers with guide, everything hit. They fired the Strength 8 missiles. At this night here, I put my shield up on the front. Unfortunately, 2 pens went through, and I failed 1 of my saves. Over here, the Vipers flat out over to this side, probably looking to get some shots on him next turn. Was that it for shooting?
That was it for shooting.
That's it for shooting. So, Imperial Knights, turn 1. Right, so I've drew secure objective 4. A grudge to settle, which is Ian has to nominate a unit, and I get a point if I kill them. He's nominated the Warp Spiders. Honour of the House, I've got to control any objective, and if 2 knights control 2 different objectives, I get D3. So we've done my movement. This knight is pulled forward onto this objective, looking to take out these bikers. The bikers here pulled forward, looking to get grav shots in on the Wraith Knight. This knight is pulled forward as well, looking to get some shots, or rather get a charge in at the Wraith Knight. The drop pod landed here with a direct hit, with the Marines and the Librarian straight behind, looking to get some psychic powers off on him. And this knight has pulled sideways, looking to get shots in and charges on these. So we'll move on to psychic and shooting. Right, so shooting phase. This knight unloaded the Infernus cannon, the Storm Spear missile launcher, and the heavy stubber at these guys here. Obviously the blast templar from the I keep forgetting, the thermal cannon scattered and killed 2 of them. The other 3 unfortunately went down to the combined fire. The knight also shot the Gatling cannon through at the Dark Reapers, and Ian lost 2 of them unfortunately, one of them being the Exarch. The Grav Bikers did 2 wounds, despite Ian getting 4 cover and 5 of feel no pain on the Wraith Knight. This guy shot the auto cannon snap firing due to having Skyfire at the Dark Reapers. Got 2 hits, 2 wounds, but Ian passed his 3 up armour. The Stormbolter from the drop pod shot at the bikers here, but didn't wound. Meanwhile, this guy here with the melter gun, the missile launcher, the rapid fire battle cannon, managed to take out the Vipers. So, in the psychic phase as well, just to mention, the Librarian cast Quickening on the Knight, and he has 2 extra attacks and initiative on the charge. So, he's going to be charging the Wraith Knight. He's got 3 attacks base, +1 for charging, +1 for 2 close combat weapons, +1 for being a walker with an additional weapon, plus D. No, he doesn't get the D3 because he's not outnumbered, but he does have an additional 2 for quickening. So we're going to charge. Right, so the knight made it in, he charged, and he's getting enough to get in combat. The shuriken cannons wouldn't do anything against front armor 13. We just added up the attacks. We get 8 attacks, so that's 3 base, 1 for charge, 1 for 2 weapons, 1 for walker with additional weapon, and then 2 for quickening. The Warlord does have weapon skill 5, so he's hitting on 3s, and he goes before the Wraith Knight because he has initiative 6 due to quickening. So hitting on 3s, and my Warlord trait is mastercrafted weapon. Reroll 1. Right, so we've got 6 strength D attacks. And there it is, Ian, there's the 6. So let's add up how many wounds this could have done. So there's D6, 2 6s. That's like 12 plus 7, 19, plus 4D3, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 wounds. before the Wraith Knight even got to attack. So, he does control objective 4, he controls objective 5, he controls objective 1, so I'll get 4, I get D3 for that, plus first blood. I'm sorry, this is ridiculous, Ian.
Look at see.
So D3, 3 victory points, 4, so 5 on turn 1. Right, so Ian did score objective 6 last turn. He's drew secure objective 5, combined strike, and Khan's Wrath, which is make a charge. The Hemlock has come on, it's moved on 36 and then Vector Dance to get some shots in on this. The Spiders have warp jumped and the Fire Dragons have came out the side here. Ian's left the 2 bikers back there, and the Warlock and Farseer and the single biker have come around this way. So we'll move on to the Psychic phase, see what damage you can do. Right, so in the Psychic phase, Ian got Eldritch Storm off on the Knight that was here, and as you can see he's no longer there. He took an additional hull point, so he was down to 4. The Hemlock shot the Blast Template's arrow at the strength D, put me Invuln up on the back, and unfortunately failed, and he managed to strip 3 hull points off us with the D scythe or cannon. And then the Reapers here, the 3 that were left, managed to strip the last 2 hull points off the side armour of the Knight there. Meanwhile over here, the Warlord is gone. I elected to put the shield up on the left hand side of the Fire Dragons, and 3 went through, and Ian rolled a 4 and a 6, which meant he got an Explodes result. So straight away I lost 2 hull points to that. The Explodes result, he managed to roll a 3 and a 6, so I lost all hull points. Both the explosions scattered, this one scattered this way, and the Strength 4 outer template landed on 2 of the bikers, but didn't wound them. The one that was back here scattered over this way and didn't do anything. He's done some more shooting as well. The Warp Spiders that battle focused this way shot down the tactical squad and the Librarian. 3 of them went down unfortunately, but they passed their morale check. Ian, are the Spiders charging?
Oh yeah.
Overwatch, so we'll work that out. Right, so in the assault phase, the Spiders made it in with a 7-inch charge. The Librarian challenged the Exarch. He got 2 hits on him and caused a single wound due to his force sword being AP3. The 2 Marines, however, didn't inflict any wounds on the Spiders, and the Spiders in turn didn't inflict any wounds back, so that is tie combat. Ian, did you score any objectives?
I will do, yes.
You did get to slay the Warlord for this night though, as that one was the Warlord.
Combined strike. Score 1 victory point at the end of your turn if at least 1 enemy unit was completely destroyed during either of your psychic, shooting or assault phases. Score D3 victory points instead if at least 1 enemy unit was completely destroyed in any 2 of these phases. Score D3 plus 3 victory points instead if at least 1 enemy unit was destroyed in all 3 of the phases.
Right, so he gets 1 victory point as that for killing something in the shooting phase.
Yep.
Plus slay the Warlord and secure objective 6 from last turn for over there.
Yeah.
That is 1, 2, 3 points. So we'll now move on to Imperial Knights, turn 2. Right, so I've drew secure objective 1, assail the 4, which is make a charge, and secure objective 3. So I pulled the bikes back onto objective 3 here. They are within 3 inches, but the 2 front guys can still shoot at the Fire Dragons. I was debating what to do with this knight. I can't go through the tank traps that are there, and I was going to charge him in and hopefully get rid of the Spiders. But that means I can't shoot anything at all because he has to shoot something that he's going to charge. So I think I'm just probably going to shoot the Fire Dragons instead. See if we can hopefully do some damage.
Go game.
Right, so the Librarian tried to cast Quickening on himself with 4 dice. Ian had way too many dice and unfortunately stopped the power going off. The Knight with the rapid fire battle cannon dropped it on the dragons that were there, wounded all 6 of them, and Ian didn't pass any cover saves unfortunately. The Storm Spear missile launcher shot at the Hemlock. Ian elected not to jink, I didn't get any hits. And the Heavy Stubber on the battle cannon arm shot down at the bikers there, got 1 wound. Ian failed his save, and then failed his leadership test, and he's ran 11 inches, which means he's going to need double 1s next turn to regroup. That was it for the shooting phase, so we now need to work out this assault. Actually, no, that wasn't it for the shooting phase. The Grav Bikers and the Sergeant with the bolt gun shot at this guy, but Ian passed all of his cover saves. So now we'll work out this assault here. Combats here, the challenge is ongoing. The Exarch is still on 1 wound. The Exarch and the Librarian both didn't hit each other. The Spiders managed to inflict 3 wounds on the 2 Tactical Marines, and I failed 1 save. The one guy that was left didn't inflict any wounds, unfortunately. So we'll now move on to Eldar. Turn 3. Right, so last turn, Ian did get Kane's Wrath for the Spiders charging into combat. He's drew Legacy of Sorrow, Overwhelming Firepower, and Secure Objective 5. Legacy of Sorrow, he needs to kill a character, so he's done his movement. The Hemlock has come this way, and he is in the firing arc of the Knight. The Spiders are at the side, and the Reapers are going to be hitting the front. He's moved one of the bikes there. I think that one's going to flat out probably over to Objective 5. And the Farseer and the Warlock have come this way, probably looking to take out the bikes. So we'll move it into Psychic phase. There's not a lot left for either army. It's been a brutal game, really quick so far, so let's see if Ian can bring down the 3rd Knight. Right, so Psychic phase down here. The Warlock cast Conceal, Reveal and Perilled, and Ian rolled a 2, so he was sucked into the warp, unfortunately, as he only had 1 wound. Shooting phase, the Reapers here unloaded the Strength 5 missiles at the Bikers that were here, which obviously AP3, and I can't jink against it. That's got him Overwhelming Firepower as well as Legacy of Sorrows for killing the Sergeant. Down here, however, Hemlock shot the Strength D cannon at this. I passed one of the cover saves from the front as Ian rolled a 3 and a 5. One of them went through, unfortunately, which stripped him of 2 hull points. The Spiders battle focused, and there was a couple of shots on the rear and a couple of shots on the side, neither of which went through. This guy flat outed onto Objective 5, and the biker that was back there ran off the table, unfortunately. So Ian did score 3 victory points that turn. I'm not sure what the score is. It's we'll add it up at the end, but it's been pretty brutal and fast game. So we'll now move on to Imperial Knights turn 4. 3. Right, so I've drew Secure Objective 6, Harness the Warp, and Secure Objective 4. I've done my movement. The Knight is pulled forward onto Objective 4. The Librarian and the Tactical Marine pulled this way, and he got Quickening, and Ian couldn't stop it, unfortunately. So that at least gets me Secure 4 and Harness the Warp. Yeah, let's move on to shooting. Right, so in the shooting phase, the Knight unloaded the missile launcher and the heavy stubbers at the Farseer here. Ian elected to jink, his Strength 8 would have doubled him out, and he's still got Shrouded from last turn, so he's got 2 cover, and he rolled 2 3s, so good job he jinked. Down here, meanwhile, I've got 2 direct hits with a rapid fire battle cannon, 5 wounds altogether on the 3, and Ian failed his cover saves, unfortunately. In combat, the Librarian and the Tactical Marine charged in. I lost 2 wounds to Overwatch. Thanks to Quickening, I went at the same time as the Exarch, and I re-challenged, and I managed to get 2 wounds through altogether. Cut one of the Spiders down as well. The Spiders in turn didn't hit the Librarian back. They then chose to hit and run. They did pass the leadership test and hit and run this way to get some shots in on the Knight. So that I do get Secure Objective 4. I did get Harness the Warp. I'm going to discard Objective 6. Right, so Ian's drew Secure 4, Secure 4, and Secure 1. Farseer has jumped 12 inches to Secure 1. Meanwhile, Objective 4 is here under the Knight, so he's going to have to kill the Knight and get the Spiders on it in order to do that. The Spiders hit and run, and they've moved up slightly to this side. probably looking to shoot the rear of the knight. The Hemlock is pulled forward as well and couldn't get a firing arc on the knight, so he's going for the librarian, and the single biker there as well. We've done the psychic phase. This guy couldn't cast Eldritch Storm due to him jinking last turn, so Ian tried to cast Psychic Shriek on the librarian down there. He got it off, but he rolled a 1, 2 and a 2. So there was no wounds dealt out there. So let's move on to shooting. Right, so down here, this guy shot at the librarian and didn't wound. This guy, however, got 2 direct hits with the Strength D template and rolled a 6 for the librarian. The Warp Spiders over here didn't cause any hull points on the knight. So Ian scores secure objective 1, which puts us at 8-8.
8-8, it's a draw.
Yep, so we're now going into Imperial Knights, turn 4. Right, so I drew Big Game Hunter, Titan Killer, and secure objective 6. We've just done the entire turn. This guy pulled backwards and shot the battle cannon and the missile launcher at the Farseer. Ian finally failed an invuln, which got me Slayer the Warlord. I then shot the melter gun and the heavy stubber at the spiders and jumped this way to try to charge them, but they didn't. He didn't make the charge, unfortunately. The stormbolt from the drop pod, which I finally remembered, shot at this guy but didn't even hit. So I got Slayer the Warlord, but not anything else. I'm going to discard Titan Killer. Right, so Ian drew objective 2. This bike moved 12 and then flat out in the shooting phase. He did roll a 1 for his dangerous terrain, but then passed his 3-up armour. Meanwhile, down here, the Hemlock is pulled round. Did get a shot at the side armour on this. He got 1 hit, and Ian rolled a 5. That meant I had to hit an invuln, which I passed. The Warp Spiders are down there. They got a single glance, and I failed the invuln save, so the knight is down to 3 hull points. In the psychic phase though, Ian cast Shrouding on there as the other Hemlock psychic powers all go against leadership, and I've got nothing left with the leadership value. So he's got 5 up cover without jinking. So he scores secure objective 2, which puts it at 9-9 now. So we'll now move on to Imperial Knights, turn 4. Right, so I've got Big Game Hunter, secure 6, and I drew secure 1. Over here, I did the entire turn. I basically didn't even shoot. I just charged the spiders and yeah, kind of eviscerated them and consolidated 1 inch onto objective 4. So it's basically an Imperial Knight and drop pod versus the what is it again? Hemlock and a single jet bike. Right, so Eldar, we think it's turn 5. Ian drew Strands of Fate, rolled a 1. Well, the Farseer had the Psychic Special rule, so he can make that a 2. So that jet biker stayed exactly where he was to secure objective 2, gets him a point. Down here, the Hemlock, 18 inches, turned just within the firing arc of the side armour of the knight there. Ian hit with 1, and unfortunately rolled a 1 on the D table, so nothing happened. So right, so I had Big Game Hunter, secure 2, and secure 1. Down here, I did my entire turn. I pulled the knight right into the middle to see whether or not I can try and avoid the Hemlock, and the Hemlock would end up having to circle me. I shot the battle cannon up at the Wind Rider up here, and Ian failed his cover save. And the missile launcher, the melter gun, and the heavy stubber all shot up at the Hemlock. Ian elected not to jink because he wouldn't be able to shoot at all. I did get 1 pen through with the melter, but it was only a weapon destroyed. We did roll to see if the game continued. I didn't actually score any victory points in that turn, and the game doesn't continue, thankfully, because like that's what's left. But yeah, it does mean that is a victory to Eldar. We added up the points. It is 10 points to 9. If I'd only ran that way, would have gotten a line breaker and a draw. But never mind, the Imperial Knights were fun. I did forget about intercept with the Icarus autocannon. We did roll for it as well to see if it would have made a difference, but it wouldn't, as I didn't get any hull points or anything on the Hemlock. So that's the end of today's second game. Please check out the rest of the channel. Please look at the rest of the armies and tell me what you think about the Knights and the Eldar, since they've both made the debut today. Yep, big cheese, but I think Ian's pretty pleased at managing to take out 2 and dropping this one to 3 hull points. As you can see, it was a pretty brutal game, but still rather enjoyable. So a big thanks to Ian for playing 2 games with me today. It's been a great day, and hope to be back very soon.